What is a creative worker visa? Hi, my name's Callum and I'm a trainee solicitor here at Latitude Law. So I'm going to be speaking with you today about the creative worker visa, which is a temporary route for people to come to the UK to work in the creative sector. So it applies to people who are, for instance, actors, musicians, entertainers, people who want to work in the UK entertainment industry. Now, the first point to note is that it is a sponsored route, which means that a person must have an offer of employment from an employer in the UK in the creative sector that is able to sponsor you to come to the UK. Now, this means that they must have a sponsor license and they must be able to provide a certificate of sponsorship to you to then make a visa application to come to the UK. Alongside holding sponsorship, they must also be able to pay you a level of salary that is at least the UK market rate for that type of role. And there's various different organisations that apply to the different types of arts or different types of role for a creative worker visa. So for instance, Equity is the organisation for the field of acting. So it would be Equity that you would need to look at for the level of salary at the UK market rate that must be paid for a role in that kind of area. Alongside the sponsorship, there is also a requirement that you must genuinely intend to come to the UK to work for that sponsor and not to work elsewhere. Now, that's quite an obvious one, but also there is opportunities for people to undertake supplementary employment, so employment outside of the sponsored employer, but they can only do so for a maximum of 20 hours per week, and also they must not interfere with the actual role that they've been sponsored to come to the UK for. There is also a financial requirement as well. It's fairly nominal. Essentially, it's for people who come into the UK, they must need to show that they have at least £1,270 for a 28-day period. Essentially, it means that they are able to maintain themselves when they first come to the UK, but it's also possible for their sponsoring employer to certify maintenance, so certify that they can actually maintain you as the employee when you come to the UK, and they do that at the certificate of sponsorship stage. Now, an initial visa on the creative worker visa can be granted for a maximum period of 12 months, or it can be provided for the length of the contract plus an additional 14 days. It is permitted to extend a creative worker visa, and the amount of time that an extension can be granted for depends on whether a person is staying with the same sponsor or moving to a new sponsor. If they're staying with the same sponsor, they can attain an extension whereby the entire time spent in the UK with that sponsor is for 24 months. If they're moving to a new sponsor, permission can be granted for a period of only 12 months. What this essentially means is if a person comes to the UK with one sponsor for a contract of about 6 months and then moves to a new sponsor, they can only be granted a maximum period of 12 months. So the total period in the UK as a creative worker visa would be 18 months. Now, the creative worker visa is not a route to settlement, which means that if someone is looking to remain in the UK for a longer period, or if they're looking to attain settlement, they will need to switch to a visa route that does allow settlement, for instance, the skilled worker visa. Now, if you're considering moving to the UK on the creative worker visa, or if you're an employer who's looking to employ someone on the creative worker visa, please get in contact with us. We'd be happy to discuss about the different requirements and assist you with either obtaining a license or assist you in actually making a creative worker visa application.